who, 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 who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? Who? We ready? Who? Who ready? Who? We ready? Who? Motivation to youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili. From young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? Who? We ready?
What's good, everyone? It's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be taking a look at the performance review of the Nike LeBron 22. Alright, so before we get started, I did spend around 11 hours in the Nike LeBron 22. There are some really awesome aspects of the shoe and some that I don't really care for. But as always, starting with the traction pattern, you kind of have this diamond inspired traction pattern at the bottom of the shoe. The outsole is decoupled from the heel to the forefoot, and this one here is a translucent outsole. Now, how this performs on clean floors, they stick like glue. Like, they are very good on clean floors. You get a very nice squeak. All of my movements, I could make them with confidence and really have no issues or hiccups across the board. They were very nice on clean floors. Now, if you're even playing on a moderately dirty floor, this shoe does struggle with dust. It picks up a ton of dust on this outsole right here. I'm not sure how the EP version performs as far as traction goes, but if there's any dust or if you're playing on a really dusty floor, this shoe struggles a lot. You will be sliding out quite a bit, so you're gonna have to wipe a ton with this shoe right here if you're playing on a dirty floor. Floor, you're good to go. Outside, I would just stay away from outdoors with this, as this shoe does retail for 180 USD, and I do think this outsole might wear away rather quickly. It does have deep grooves, but I just would stick to indoor use with this shoe unless you can get these on heavy discount. Traction's really nice on clean floors. It struggles on dirty floors. I was having a lot of issues with kind of step backs and just lateral movements when I would try and make a hard cut or crossover. My foot would slide to a stop, which I don't care for in a basketball shoe. It's a little annoying because with the 20s, it seems like they perfected the outsole, even with the translucent. With this one, it does struggle quite a bit, and that's why it's going to score a decent 8 out of 10. As far as the cushioning goes with this model right here, it's very reminiscent of the Nike LeBron 21. With the 22s, you are getting a very thick, I believe it's 12 or 14 millimeters, zoom bag in the heel. It is bottom loaded, so it's underneath some of that Cushlon 2.0. In the forefoot, you're getting a very large volume forefoot zoom turbo. It is articulated for all of your movements. Now, how this feels underfoot, I could really feel the zoom turbo directly under the ball of my foot. It was very snappy, very springy, and close to the floor. The impact protection at the back of the shoe was very nice as well. So overall, you're basically getting the exact same setup as last year with the heel and forefoot zoom airbag. Now, I know in my initial review of this shoe, I did say they had Cushlon 3.0. I did misspeak. They do have Cushlon 2.0. It does a nice job as far as just offering some nice compression at the back of the shoe. Everything up front is pretty caged with this chassis right here on the side, so you don't really get to feel that Cushlon at all in the forefoot. But overall, it's a really nice cushioning setup that really is going to protect you whether your positions 1 through 5. You get a very large volume zoom airbag at the back, a very snappy zoom turbo bag at the front. I really enjoy this setup. It's basically, other than full length zoom, it's basically a perfect setup in my opinion. And that's why it's going to score a very solid 9.5 out of 10. As far as the fit goes with this model right here, I did stick true to size, and they are a very snug 1-to-1 fit. As you can see right here, the toe box is pretty tapered. I would say this is a little bit more wide foot friendly than most models for LeBrons in recent years. It does taper in just a little bit right here. My recommendation would be to try these on. if you are a wide footer. But for normal or narrow footers, I would say stick true to size, or whatever you wore last year in the 21s or in the 20s. Go with the same size and you should be good to go. It is a very comfortable feeling shoe on foot. You get a ton of padding at the back of the shoe, very reminiscent of the 20s and 21s with the Nike Sphere padding at the back. You get a ton of padding within this basketball shoe right here, and it just offers a very snug, nice fit. And I really enjoyed my time in these as far as the fit goes, and that's why they're going to score a very solid 9 out of 10. Now, as far as the materials go with this shoe right here, you kind of are getting synthetics throughout. At the back of the shoe, you do kind of have this synthetic material that runs down to the swoosh right here and across kind of this chassis frame right here that wraps underneath to the medial side. The upper is a perforated synthetic leather. This is not a real leather material. It honestly feels like a very short-haired nubuck. Running up the tongue, you also have some suede material or synthetic suede. This is not a very breathable basketball shoe. Like, these are hot boxes on foot. They basically trap in a ton of heat, and there's really no movement for any of that air to get out because this upper is just very hot as far as having these on foot. I will say that I do like this material better than last year's Nike LeBron 21. I did find the materials on the 21s to be a lot thicker, and it did take a lot longer to break in, whereas these materials are a lot softer and they offer a very nice feeling on foot. My biggest gripe with this upper is it's not breathable at all. Not at least in my opinion. My sock was soaked while playing in this shoe right here. As far as some of the other materials, you do get that Nike Sphere material at the back of the shoe, which offers a very nice plush feeling. So overall, you're getting a ton of synthetics running throughout the LeBron 22. And I think for 180 USD, I know they lowered the price from $200, but I just wish that they gave us a nicer material, like real raw materials, or I wish they'd go back to what they did on the Nike LeBron 20s with this knit material. It was very lightweight, breathable, and offered no break-in time at all on the 20s. But with the 22s, you are getting this synthetic upper running throughout. So as far as the materials go on this model right here, I'm gonna have to give them an 8 out of 10. I don't really care for them. They're not premium. And honestly, like I said, I wish they would just go back to the knit from the Nike LeBron 20. Sound off in the comments what you guys think of the materials on this model. As far as the support goes on this model right here, this is a very supportive basketball shoe, almost to its detriment. Now, we will get to that. Starting at the back of the shoe, you do have this internal heel counter, which is very rigid. It keeps you very locked in at the back of the shoe and gives you great ankle support. I know this is a low top basketball shoe, but you do not get ankle support from the height of a shoe. That is just a placebo effect. You get a very nice supportive basketball shoe from having your proper size and fit and having a very rigid heel counter, and that's exactly what this shoe has. Moving your way down from that, you do have this chassis right here, or this frame on the Nike LeBron 22 that does wrap around to the medial side. It is very rigid to the point where when you put the shoe on, you feel it. Like, it just feels so stiff underfoot, and it does take like 4 to 5 hours, at least in my opinion, to break in and feel a little bit more natural on foot. The forefoot is very stiff as well. This shoe doesn't flex much in hand. I know LeBron's in his 22nd season, so he probably needs a ton of support within his shoes. But for the average player, this is a very stiff basketball shoe. Not to mention, it does have a top-loaded shank plate, so it also has great torsional rigidity, as you can see right here, but honestly almost too much. Moving your way down from that, you do have this outrigger right here, which does help prevent your foot from teetering over if you do land awkwardly at the bottom. And then you do have this wide and stable base here at the bottom of the Nike LeBron 22. So for most people, this might be too much as far as the support goes. This is going to get a very solid score out of 10. I just think for me, it was a little bit stiff underfoot and took a lot longer to break in than last year's 21 and the 20s before that. So I do think this shoe is built for a larger player in a low top package. As far as the support goes, these are going to get a very solid 9.5 out of 10. I just wish they had a little bit more flexibility within the shoe so it didn't have to break in so long. As far as the weight goes on the Nike LeBron 22 in a US size 10.5, these do come in at 17 ounces even. So these are heavier than last year's 21s and the 20s. So that is a bit of a downgrade in my opinion, making them heavier. I do wish they would stick to like that 15 to 15 and a half ounces for my US size 10 and a half like they were in the 20s. But with the 22s, they are 17 ounces. So that is a bit of a bummer when it comes to the weight. So that's going to do it for today's performance review on the Nike LeBron 22. Sound off in the comments what you guys think of this model. Honestly, this is a very nice performer, but its biggest downfalls are its traction. On dirty floors, it just struggles way too much to the point where I'm not comfortable making my movements on court without wiping like every second play. The cushioning is very nice. The support is awesome. Other than that midfoot just being a little bit too stiff for my liking. The materials are a bit of a downgrade from last year. Although they do break in a lot quicker, they just feel very cheap in hand for 180 USD. And the fit was very snug and form-fitting on foot. So there are a ton of really nice features within this basketball shoe. But for me, I would just prefer that knit upper to be back from the 20s onto the 22s or maybe the 23s. I know the 20s were like kind of a celebration shoe, being his 20th signature shoe, but next year being the 23rd Nike LeBron shoe, I do hope they go all out. I do think the setup as far as cushioning is adequate, but I wouldn't be mad at a full-length Zoom Strobel setup either, because I do think you'd get a very plush and close to the floor feeling with that within a Nike LeBron. Overall, this is a very nice performer. Is it worth 180 USD? Honestly, it's not. It's more or less the same shoe from last year, just a bit more rigidity within the support features on this shoe compared to the 21s. So if you do need that within a hoop shoe, maybe this is worth picking up. But keep in mind, you can grab the Nike LeBron 21s for more than 50% off right now still. So I think I would stick to the 21s or the 20s. I would wait for these to go on sale, but sound off in the comments what you guys think of the Nike LeBron 22. Like I said, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.